Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new Paradigm Woods and Irons from Callaway.
What are your takeaways from the round today, Rickie?
Still some good stuff, some positives. Anything under par around this golf course is a good round of golf, but I wanted more. I wanted to move up the board a little bit more than I did, but still a solid couple days to start and see if we can get it going this weekend.
I feel like maybe let a couple slip coming down the stretch there.
Between the bogeys and not continuing to make some birdies, but it's a tough place. It's tough to get good looks out there, and to have any look at all, you have to drive the ball well and get yourself in position. So, like I said, still a lot of positives from the first 2 days, and off to a decent start and in a position where we can go have some fun this weekend.
Rickie, do you have any memories from the 63 you shot here when you were in college, and maybe how the course has changed over 15 years? Does it look a lot different?
Honestly, I don't remember it a whole lot, being 15 or so years ago, and golf course wise, I remember kind of the general layout and was able to get reacquainted with it Tuesday and Wednesday, but it was a little while ago. I mean, I remember it was a very good round of golf, and we'll see if we can maybe duplicate it this weekend.
What has been working so well for you these first two rounds, you think?
I've played well all around. I hit my irons really fantastic today. Today was one of those days where I shot 4 under. It certainly could have been lower than that with all the birdie looks that I had, but I certainly would have taken it at the start of the day, and I'd gladly take 2 more of them.
How confident are you in your game heading into the weekend now?
It feels better. It's been interesting the last few months. I haven't played particularly well, and have been working really hard on my game with my swing coach Scott Hamilton and Ramon, my putting coach, and we've been going at it, and it's kind of felt like I've been beating my head against the wall a little bit, and but thankfully all of a sudden last week in Memphis after the first round felt like more of the same, and kind of started to gain a little bit of momentum. Played well the last 3 days, and the kind of changes or tweaks that I've made in my golf swing are finally starting to get comfortable.
You said beating your head against the wall. Was there like a low point, like a round or tournament that you were particularly frustrated with how it went?
I mean, I would never say I really got that down about it, but yeah, it's hard. I mean, Greensboro was tough. I don't know what I shot. I shot 1,000,000 over par there, and just didn't feel like I could do anything right. Wasn't hitting fairways and wasn't hitting my irons great, and couldn't make a putt, and it's just the way it goes sometimes. But came to Memphis and started to hit it a little bit better. Putted terrible the first 2 days. Hit it great the second day, so still shot 3 under despite putting awful, and said screw it, changed putters after the first 2 rounds last week. Just kind of figured I couldn't do any worse, and I've continued to work on my stroke, work on my reads, all the things that I'm doing, and have gotten a little more comfortable.
Matt, what was working best for you out there today?
Probably, on the front 9, I'd say my approach play. On the back 9, I'd probably say my putting. So, it was a combination of the two. Just felt like I gave myself a lot of chances on the front 9, didn't necessarily take them, and the back 9 was kind of just hanging around and managed to make a few.
Do you feel like, where do you kind of position this course in terms of the scale of difficulty of courses you guys play on tour?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely more difficult than your average PGA Tour. I think you've only got to look at the scores. Obviously, it's only 50 guys here, so it is a smaller field, but arguably it's 50 of the best. So, it's definitely more difficult than the average one, I think. So.
Do you prefer one type or the other in terms of like X difficulty?
Yeah, I mean, I personally prefer being more difficult. I don't like it when it's a birdie fest. I hate those golf courses. I just think it's it just doesn't suit me personally. So I just don't enjoy that.
Why do you feel like you're putting well this week?
I think the greens are great. I think they really are. I think there's a lot of slope on these greens, and I think you've got to be really in good control of your speed. And I feel like that's what I've done well so far this week.
Now, what do you
Matt-
do when if you play a schedule in which you really need to be there, and it's one of those courses that you so little enjoy? If it's like as you said, a birdie fest, what kind of attitude do you have that week? You have to work on it.
I think it's one you got to work on. Yeah, I think it's a case of just trying to view it as part of the process of seeing how your game is. I think more than anything, it's I think you just got to be realistic with your expectations. If this is not it doesn't suit you, then I think you've probably got to just try your best to hang on in and just literally use it as a see where your game is at that point of the year.
And on this golf course, what happens if it doesn't rain the rest of the week, which I don't think it's going to do? I mean, the rough is really thick. Does it get easier or harder?
Hopefully it's going to get firm and fast. I remember when it was here a couple of years ago, and it was fantastic. Come Sunday, the greens were bordering yellow and fairways were running, and I think it just becomes a real tough test. You've got to hit fairways. It becomes more penal off the fairway and missing the greens. So you've really got to plot your way around.
Max, in around a 62, lots got to go right for you. What was probably the best part of your game today, in your opinion?
Obviously, I hold a lot of putts, which you have to do to make 10 birdies, but I was very proud of how I drove it. I felt like I was able to attack kind of all day. Obviously, the greens are still really soft, so being in the fairway as often as I was, it felt like I was able to be aggressive on when I wanted to, and if I didn't, I could just play to the middle of the green. So I thought that the tee ball set up everything. It was a major bonus to make as many putts as I did, but it was all really good. But I think that out here, when you're in the fairway, it becomes significantly easier, more so than other golf courses.
As well as you're playing and putting, you made 10 birdies. I hope this isn't a dumb question, but did you realize you were making 10 birdies, or was there ever a moment when you looked at the card and just saw a bunch of circles?
I guess not till after 14 or 15. I just was thinking to myself, I've birdied most of the holes on the back nine, and that was quite a nice feeling. So I guess not really. Yeah, sometimes you're just, I guess, zoning. But I knew I was making a lot. I heard the standard bearer say something about how he's getting tired because he had to change the numbers on our thing so much because Pat was making a lot too. So it was just a crazy day.
How much of this course does it ask of your game? Do you feel like it's pretty thorough?
Yeah, I think it's pretty thorough. They have a couple collection areas. You obviously are going to have a lot of kind of chop out chips from the thick rough. It does feel a bit like if you don't play from the fairway. I know Rory did it yesterday, but he's a bit unique in that. But I do feel like you need to be in the fairway. So I would say that's something that is probably needed more so, unless you absolutely bomb it. But yeah, I do think that it asks a lot. The greens are really tricky, so when you get on them, you have some odd putts. You need to lag putt well, and you're going to have some awkward little ones. The greens kind of remind me a little bit like Augusta, where you can have some putts on some decent slope. So I think it's pretty thorough throughout the golf course, what it kind of asks of you.
Yeah. Last one on me, Max. Yesterday, I'd be curious of the difference of the greens, because those back pins yesterday were just problematic in terms of measuring spin. What was it like today?
Yeah, I actually think somewhat similar. The only difference is we got a round to figure it out. That always helps a little bit. You get a little bit more comfortable hitting some of those, I guess, awkward types of shots.